Hi everyone, and welcome to the Book Refuge, and welcome to another recommendations video. Today I am pre-filming a bunch, as I'm sure you can tell by my dress attire today. So yeah, it's just one of those days where I'm like, let's pump out some videos, right? So today, as you can tell, we're doing Fairy Tale Retellings. This is one of my favorites. I love whether it is a historical romance that's taking a twist on something, or a, dark romance that's like, let's spice this up with some fairy tale elements. So yeah, there'll be some that I'm sure you probably have heard about, as well as some that maybe are new to you. So let's start out with two recommendations from the Sinister, the Dark Sinister Fairy Tale Retelling series. I'm going to recommend the two that I liked the most. This is a series that is done by multiple authors. There are about 12 titles out right now. There's like 6 more to come. So definitely just type in like the Sinister collection, I think, on Amazon, and they'll all come up. They're all on Kindle Unlimited. The one I love the most, the first one is Cold Queen by Kay Webster. This book is a retelling of Frozen, of Anna and Elsa. And we're dealing with a queen who is slowly dying. And she thinks she's dying because there's a certain taint in her magic. So she has ice magic, obviously. And this guy who's called like the Demon King comes to town and is demanding that there's supposed to be an arranged marriage between her younger sister and this guy. And the queen decides that she's going to sacrifice herself because, of course, he would want to marry her because she is about to die anyway. So he can marry her and take over the kingdom. But her sister, she wants to save her sister from that. Well, he ends up not being who we think he is, this demon king. And he actually needs his powers and her powers to work together to defeat some evil people that we're dealing with, who, guys, this is super dark. I'm not going to explain everything these like evil people do, but we're talking cannibalism, and I'm not going to go into the details, but be warned, maybe look up a review of some stuff before you read this. However, the relationship part of this is a very dark fairy tale retelling, is amazing because he's not just here to suck the life out of this queen and take over. He actually has plans that are beneficial for both of them and for both of their kingdoms. And it was very exciting. And yeah, so we have an Anna and Elsa Frozen retelling, and this was so amazing. Then I just read Stealing Cinderella, and this one was by A. Zavarelli. This was so intense, so amazing. This involves a prince from Norway named Thor and a girl named Ella, who ends up getting kidnapped by this prince, and he makes her a deal that she can't refuse. 2 months being his love slave, and he will help her save the animal sanctuary that she loves so much. There's some BDSM involved. There is some tears and pain and craziness involved. And it was so sexy. It was so amazing. And I knew this one would be good. This was one of the ones that I was waiting for because, like I said, I haven't liked all of these series, haven't been as good to me. But this one was A++++++++. It was so good. Next, I have to talk about Worthy Opponent by Katie Roberts. Of course, she has an entire series called The Wicked Villains. This is number 3, and I'm sure I would put the 4th one on here, but I haven't read it as of filming this, even though by the time this video goes up, the 4th one will be out, which is about Gaston and the Beast and Belle, and it's going to be amazing. But Worthy Opponent is about Hook and Tinkerbell. Tinkerbell has just been released from her contract with Hades, who you know about if you read the first 2 books in the series. And Peter was her former lover slash master slash not a great guy at all. And he is coming for her as soon as she's been released from this contract. And her only hope is to marry Hook and work with him to defeat Peter Pan. And she doesn't want to, but it's not for the reasons that you think. And they have amazing chemistry. They have a history that you don't know anything about. And Hook not only wants her because he wants her, he needs her to save his district and his people, and they're great. Hook, so they're both into some BDSM, but Hook is one of the most interesting doms I've ever read. Like, he's so fun. I've just never like read a dom who was so lighthearted, even in really situations, and I really liked that about him. I really enjoyed it, and I had a great time with this one. The whole series is really good, but this one was my favorite by far. All right, next I have some historical recommendations. So the first one is When She Said I Do by Celeste Bradley. This is a Beauty and the Beast retelling. This is about a girl named Callie, and she ends up, well, her name is Calliope, but she ends up in this guy's rundown manor after her and her family are almost drowned in a river. And he is a wounded hero who is slowly going crazy. And when he sees Callie, he thinks she is an angel, and he gets a little handsy with her, causing her brother to challenge him to a duel, causing Callie to jump in front of him and say that she'll marry him to prevent him from being murdered. And he makes a bargain with her that for every sexual experience that they have, because he thinks no one could love him at all if they aren't getting paid for it, let's put that out there, he will give her one pearl from a necklace that she had stolen from him, and when she has all the pearls, she can leave, and he's going to die on his own in this manner. But that's not going to happen if Callie can help it. This book is so much fun. Then I have a Princess and the Pea retelling, and this is called The Duke Is Mine by Eloisa James. So Eloisa James actually has a whole series of fairy tale retellings. She has When Beauty Tamed the Beast, A Kiss at Midnight, and The Ugly Duchess, all of which are very good. This is my favorite. I can't wait to reread this later this year. I want to read this so bad. This is about a girl named Olivia, and she is supposed to marry the Duke of Canterwick, who he's actually a little bit, he has some mental issues, and his father is forcing him to marry her, and she's forced to marry him for reasons. But it would be really awkward because she's not, like, he's not of the same mental age as her. And she starts to slowly fall in love with Tarquin, the Duke of Scots, and she wants to be with him so badly. But the Duke of Canterwick, who the father of this man she's supposed to marry, he is not going to let her get out of her obligations that easily. It's very funny because, like, there's a magnificent there's a magnificent bedroom full of mattresses that holds life-changing answers. So somehow it's a Princess and the Pea retelling, but it's super cute, super fun, and I love that she picked The Princess and the Pea because she picked some very interesting fairy tales to retell, not just Beauty and the Beast and Cinderella, but like The Ugly Duchess and this one. And I just love this series. I wish she had done more books in this series. She only did 4, but they were really, really fun. All right, next I have 2 Cinderella retellings. So the first one is An Offer from a Gentleman by Julia Quinn. This is the 3rd book in the Bridgerton series. There's a Bridgerton for every occasion, guys. I'm telling you. You tell me the trope, I got a Bridgerton book for you. So this one is about Sophie, who has been living with her stepmother and stepsisters. Of course, that's horrible. She sneaks to a masquerade ball at the Bridgertons, and she ends up meeting Benedict. And Benedict is caught off guard by this beautiful woman. They have a wonderful moment in the garden, and just as he's about to lift her mask and see who she is, she runs away. Then the next day, her stepmother finds out what she did, and she disowns her and banishes her from her home, leaving her with nothing. And so Sophie has to go and become a barmaid and a companion and all the different things she has to do to survive. Then she so happens to run across Benedict a few years later, and he has no idea who she is. And so he saves her from being raped, basically, and takes her in as his own, like, guest, not as his housemaid, but and never realizing that this is the same woman. She knows who he is, but she's in a completely different, like, life situation now and doesn't know how they could breach that or what they could do. This is really fun. It follows the retelling, like, quite interesting as well. And I feel like more than any other, some of these books, it really like is a Cinderella retelling. This one's actually a Beauty and the Beast retelling, not a Cinderella retelling. I don't know why I said I had another one of these, but we have a wounded hero who was supposed to marry this one girl, and Emma is a girl who made this girl's dress. And so she shows up wearing this wedding dress saying, "Sir, you need to pay me for this wedding dress. It cost me a lot to make, and your fiance didn't pay for it, and now what am I supposed to do?" And he is like, he's been needing a wife and an heir. And because the woman he was supposed to marry won't marry him now because he's ugly from his wounds, he's like, "How about you marry me? And then once you have me an heir, I will give you a happy place to live and you never have to see me again." But of course, like all wounded heroes, he doesn't realize that she thinks he's sexy, wounds and all. This also includes a caped crusader, and it includes lots of steamy romantic moments. And I love a marriage of convenience or a marriage bargain. And this was my first Tessa Dare, and it will always be my favorite because it was just so much fun. I loved it so much. So there you go, guys. There are some fairy tale retellings that I advise you to give a try to. Let me know some of your favorites. And yeah, I make new videos 3 to 4 times a week, and you can see some more of them right now. Bye!